So, how is it like living in the streets?
In hell. That's just about it, really.
What is up, guys? One of the things which shocked me when I came to UK is what we call rough sleeping. I never ever in a million years expected that I'll see people who are rough sleeping in UK. And when I'm saying rough sleeping, I'm talking of people who have no homes here in UK, people living and sleeping in the streets. This came as a shock to me because growing up, I grew up in a place called Bulawayo, Zimbabwe, which is the second largest city in Zimbabwe. So during the time that I grew up, there was a segregation. There was the white man's land and the black man's land, meaning that us, the black people, we used to stay in the high density suburbs, and the white people, they used to stay in the low density suburb. And whenever you went to the city center, there was a demarcation, a certain street that you're not supposed to cross, because if you have crossed that street, you'd have encroached into the white man's land. Growing up, we were made to feel that the white men were high and mighty. They were living in big houses, they had cars, they had everything good was associated with white people, and they were referred to as bars, or they were referred to as bosses and madams. And us, the black people, during that point in time, the only time that we were allowed, when I'm saying we, obviously it wasn't me because I was a child, I'm looking at my parents, my grandparents, and so forth. The only time that we're allowed to cross over, to go and to cross over the street, was when you were working for the white people, maybe working as a maid, working as a garden boy, or anything of that sort. And they lived a high and mighty life, the prestigious life. It was all good. And growing up as a child, the picture which was painted about the white man was that a white man is high and mighty, a white man is rich, a white man has got everything that they desire in the world, be it food, be it money, be it houses. They had everything in my country, and they still have everything in my country. It's very rare that you find a white man living in the street. They are still there living in the low density areas, and they are living a good life, the majority of them. So when I came here to UK, it was a complete shock. A complete shock to me, guys, when I was walking down the streets and I saw a number of white people sleeping on the streets, and they were begging for money from me. Give us at least 20p.
Spare a little change, please. Spare a little change, please. Spare a little, thank you.
It was a complete shock to me, guys, because this is something that I never ever expected to see. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the dark side of UK, because it's not only that one person or two people, five people that I've seen living in the streets. It seems like the statistics are so high, and it seems like the UK is drowning in poverty, because it's not only people who are living in the streets who are finding it hard. There are a lot of people who are on benefits here in the United Kingdom, and the government is forking thousands and thousands, not even thousands, billions of dollars towards people in social housing, towards people who need to be taken care of by the government because they cannot take care of themselves. So welcome to another episode of Life in the UK Uncut. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the dark side of UK, what no one tells you about the United Kingdom. And guys, without wasting any of your time, let's get into it.
The United Kingdom is said to be sinking in poverty. More than 1 in 5 people in the UK were in poverty in 2021-2022. That is 14.4 million people. This included 8.1 million working age adults, 4.2 million children, and 2.1 million pensioners. In addition to UK experiencing high levels of poverty, there are a lot of people who are homeless, and an estimated 3,898 people were counted as sleeping rough across England on a single night in autumn. The official rough sleeping snapshots was up more than quarter on the 3,069 people counted in 2022 and is more than double the 1,700 people on the streets in 2010 when the Conservatives first came to power. Homelessness is a big issue affecting hundreds of thousands of people across the UK, and in recent times the numbers have only been increasing in 2024. The cost of living crisis and the housing crisis in the UK means more people are facing homelessness. Despite living in the world's sixth biggest economy, people are still living with no place to call their home in this country, whether it be sleeping rough, sofa surfing, or any other type of homelessness. Some leaders have pledged to end it. The Westminster government has pledged to end rough sleeping in England by the end of 2024, and this is a milestone that is almost certain to be missed because at the rate at which things are going, instead of numbers coming down, they are actually increasing each year. The number of households living in temporary accommodation in England is also at an all-time high. As of the end of 2023, 112,660 households were living in temporary accommodation, including 146,800 children. The sad bit is that the majority of the people who live in temporary accommodation live in a deplorable state.
Winter is 5 years old. Throughout her whole life, she's lived in temporary accommodation. Her mum, Yasmin, doesn't like to invite friends round because she says she's embarrassed by the state of the damp and mould.
There's damp in nearly every single room, every room. When I moved in, the toilet was leaking into the back garden. There was tissue, faeces, everything all over the garden. A cockroach got through the front door frame, which is like rotted, it's rotted wood. There was fleas everywhere in all the carpets, jumping off the windowsills, biting my daughter, like in the bed.
Things have become so bad in the United Kingdom such that even people who are gainfully employed are becoming homeless.
But first, a special report on the latest shocking rise in homelessness, even among those in active employment. New figures out today show 1 in 4 of the households in England becoming homeless last year had at least one person in work. It is something that affected or at least threatened almost 73,000 households where someone had a full or part-time job. By the end of 2022, homelessness among full-time workers had increased by 22% compared to the same period 2 years ago. London had the highest number of people suffering in-work homelessness, followed by the southeast of England and the northwest.
The government so often says that the best route out of homelessness, out of poverty, is getting a job, working. That is not enough. That the chronic shortage of affordable homes means that working full-time on a modest income, you can still find yourself with nowhere to live.
I work 5 days a week and I still have to use a community shop.
Millions of people in the UK are in paid employment, but still struggling to make ends meet.
It doesn't make sense that we have to go through all this.
We are penny pinching, we're counting the pennies every day.
Politicians repeatedly tell voters the best way out of hardship is to get a job. But for a growing number of people, it's just not enough.
Because of poverty in the UK, the hospitals in the United Kingdom are also facing a lot of strain because a lot of people are now suffering from what is referred to as the Victorian illnesses.
Seem to have regressed 150 years to a Dickensian era of diseases as new NHS data discovered by LBC show malnutrition, rickets and scurvy soaring during Rishi Sunak's premiership. Figures obtained from 84 NHS trusts show tens of thousands of diagnoses of malnutrition, rickets and scurvy, and the true figure may be 3 times higher than previous estimates as they encompass secondary diagnoses.
It is said that it has been almost 20 years and 6 prime ministers since the last prolonged period of falling poverty. The overall level of poverty has barely moved since Conservative-led governments took power in 2010. Poverty last fell consistently during the first half of the Labour administration between 1999, 2000 and 2004, 2005, but then rose in the second half of their time in power. In part, this reflects the hits to living standards that have affected everyone, from the economic slowdown even before the global financial crisis to the current cost of living crisis. Because of the increase in the number of people who are becoming homeless in the UK is forced to spend a lot of money in trying to house and accommodate the homeless. Council spent £1.7 billion on temporary accommodation for homeless households between April 2022 and March 2023. This is a 9% increase in spending in just 1 year. It has increased by 62% in the last 5 years. Pauline Yet, chief executive of Shelter, said not only is 1.7 billion spent on temporary accommodation outrageous, but it's also illogical. We simply can't keep throwing money at green B&Bs and hostels instead of focusing on helping families into a home. With a general election on the horizon, no one can afford to continue to ignore a crisis of this magnitude. The National Child Mortality Database, which is an NHS-funded program, analyzed the deaths of 10,256 children between 1st April 2019 and March 31st, 2023, and found temporary accommodation was deemed to be the contributing factor in the deaths of 55 children. Of those 55 children, 42 were less than a year. A record 142,490 children in England are currently living in temporary accommodation. While they are not sleeping rough, they are legally defined as homeless. There are almost 160,000 households experiencing the worst forms of homelessness in Britain, and if it carries on like it currently is, it is expected to almost double in the next 25 years. So guys, this is the dark side of the United Kingdom that people don't often talk about. A lot of people are homeless and millions are living in poverty, including those who are in full-time employment. A shortage of homes and high rents both cause homelessness. These issues also make it difficult for people to move on from homelessness into stable homes. So how can this catastrophe be resolved? The British are calling on governments across the UK to provide more low-cost housing for people who need it. Rents should be set at levels that people on low incomes can afford, or benefit rules should be changed. Councils, housing associations, and private landlords must all make sure that their properties are of a decent standard. People should not have to move every few months. The British want to see more schemes that help the homeless people find and keep accommodation.
So guys, this is the sad reality of life in the United Kingdom. We have the good, we also have the bad, and the good is good and the bad is very, very bad. So I just wanted to share this video with you because a lot of people were asking me that, oh, you always say that, oh, okay. So I just wanted to share with you, okay. So guys, as you can see, this is what life in the UK is like. We have the good, we also have the bad. So guys, this is what life in the UK is like. It's not all rosy. We have the good and we also have the bad. So sometimes I know we tend to complain about the situations that we're in. We're not getting, as long as you are having a job, as long as you have money, as long as you are able to put food on your table, guys, be grateful for what we have, because a lot of people wish they could have. Okay, so guys, I know we tend to living has gone high, all the salaries are low. Be grateful as long as you have a job. If you're able to put food on the table, you have a roof over your head, you have a car, you can afford a lot of things, you can buy food and so forth. Be totally grateful, because as you can see, some people are living in the streets. They don't have food, they don't have money, they wish they could work, they don't have work. So whatever you have, learn to be grateful and practice gratitude, because it is a rough world out there. It's not easy for some people, so be truly grateful for whatever little, whether it's little or it's much. So be truly grateful for whatever you get, as long as you are able to get by. Otherwise, guys, this is all that I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.